16.4 passer rating looks good. I think he had 5 incompletions. Like, the stats are looking good, but when you're watching this game with your eyes, you guys, do you have trust in Russell Wilson? And that's where I have this fine line of I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to feel when it comes to Russ. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to feel because I don't really have the trust that he's going to be able to do it. I even tweeted last night on the final drive. I was like, come on, Russ, be great. Be able to throw a great pass that's able to move this field down the sideline. And everybody keeps talking about all of his touchdowns. And it's like, yes, it's great, but we're seeing touchdowns. But how many times has the defense really set them up for success? That's kind of the question. How many times has it been past the 50-yard line? And it's like, all right, the defense is able to get an interception, and that's when the touchdown comes for Russell Wilson. How many times do we not see Russ be able to move the entire way down the field? Quite often. And it's been a little frustrating. So I see everybody talking about the stats. I see how he's like second in touchdowns or whatever it is in the NFL. And there's so many stats around him. But yet, what are your eyes telling you when it comes to Russell Wilson? And you know what? Since we're here, we might as well ask our very own Andrew Mason because I see him behind the scenes. Andrew Mason, good morning, my friend. How are you? Oh, wait, I can't hear you, Mace.
Oh, I've gotta unmute myself. Professional broadcasting time, huh? I'm doing all right. How are you, Rachel?
Are you exhausted?
Yes. Those Monday night games are not easy, especially on the East Coast. Although with the altered schedule and the Broncos only doing a day after conference call, I can take a later flight. So I've been able to kind of ease into things and I think kind of process what we saw last night.
What time did you go to bed, first of all?
Well, honestly, like sometimes you're still kind of wired after a game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me a few hours to get to sleep once I got done. I left the stadium around I guess about 2:25 or so Eastern time. Yeah, I don't think I got to sleep until about 5 something actually.
Oh
It was
my
a
gosh.
while. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're able to hang with us for a little bit this
Yeah.
morning, and I do appreciate it. We know Sean Payton spoke to the media, and everybody's been kind of critical of how he rushed his field goal unit onto the field. What did he have to say about that? I heard something about 17 seconds.
Yeah, he said 17 seconds is kind of the demarcation point to having enough time to get everyone out there, get everyone set, and then get the snap off. I will say this. I put this out there on social media last night as it was happening. Given the misadventures that you had earlier in the game with the bobbled snap on the PAT by Riley Dixon, I thought what they should have done was actually attempt to kick on third down rather than fourth down, because if you have a bad snap on third down or something goes askew, the holder can just take the ball, roll out, throw it away, and you get another shot. Of course, if they had done that, it's entirely possible that Buffalo wouldn't have been in the situation where they were rushed and had 12 players on the field as well. So, I mean, so much from my viewpoint, right?
Still the craziest thing. And obviously, Mace, you were there, so you weren't watching the Manning cast, but watching Peyton Manning's reaction when they first miss it, and I'm sure you've seen the replay, but then when you hear Eli saying, there's a flag, and his face, he literally looks like he's rising from the dead of like, what did you just say to me?
He's so invested, isn't he? It's incredible. I mean, earlier in the game, the fumble there right at the start of the game, and he's saying we, and he's like, then the Broncos, and Eli's like, yeah, you haven't played there for 8 years.
This morning.
You know?
It's so
He
good.
can't remove himself from that, and it's honestly, it's so kind of charming and adorable, right? Just to see how the Broncos kind of burrowed their way into his soul, into where he still has this deep identification with them after all this time. Honestly, I thought it was pretty nice. Hopefully there'll be an opportunity for another Manning cast with the Broncos on, because I think he'll try to watch himself, but in the emotion of the moment, I don't think he can. That's the Broncos.
I'm gonna go talk some shit, dude.
Yeah, I mean, we all know a head coach
good.
change is about as major of a change as you can make in this league. It's the biggest moves you can make are a change at quarterback and a change at head coach, and that's looming right around the corner. And I just think that one crack in the dam needed to be exposed in order for the whole thing to kind of bust open, and the crack's there. The Ken Dorsey firing is the crack, and I think that the McDermott explosion of the dam just seems like it's more inevitable than ever right now. I mean, the overall, I will say there's a lot of, I'm just from a couple quick scrolls here. There are a lot of people very happy right now. There are a lot of people that are very adamant in their support of Ken Dorsey. Caroline just brought me some tissues. Good. Still got that cold going. But this is my take on the people. So this is once again, there's a variety of ways people look at this. And there's also this crew of people out there that are like major defenders of Ken Dorsey, almost to the point of people who are like that with Josh Allen. Now,
42-yard line in Denver territory, or they settle for 46 left hash and try a 64-yard field goal.
It'll forever haunt Broncos country. Those words right there.
46 left hash. I mean, the chap. I'm not sure what we would call the chapter on the Nathaniel Hackett year as Broncos head coach. If we're calling it something pithy, it would be 46 left hash. Or I actually had something that got traction and went viral yesterday, pointing out that Hackett had last 17 games as play caller, including 8 with the Broncos, 14 games with 1 or fewer touchdowns, and now we see what we see here with this Broncos team. I mean, you mentioned Russell Wilson before I came on, and does the film and what your eyes see match the numbers? This is one of those cases where it does not. And clearly there are some limitations as to what they're trying to do. But the difference between a Sean Payton and Nathaniel Hackett is an overall resourcefulness to say, how are we going to find another path to success? Yeah. It comes, for example, with running the football 78 times in 2 games, which the Broncos have not done to that effect in a 2-game span since December of 2017. Mm-hmm. And only 8 teams around the league have done for any 2-game span this season. It's pretty rare to see running to that degree in a 2-game stretch. So you see that. Special teams, which certainly had, it was an adventure last night, mm-hmm. but you had 3 nice returns by Marvin Mims, 2 on punts, 1 on a kickoff. That's an area that, even though you had the PAT hit the upright and you had the mishandled snap by Riley Dixon, that is an area that has gotten better. And really, those returns by Mims help the Broncos keep that momentum in terms of field position. That was something Sean Payton didn't mention. Between the takeaways and the returns, the Broncos, and then stopping them on 4th down, of course, at midfield once, the Broncos were playing a huge chunk of that game in Buffalo territory, mm-hmm. largely because of their starting field position, which meant that their mistakes weren't as damaging because they generally were further down the field. Buffalo playing more towards its own end for stretches of the game, their mistakes were magnified coming closer to their goal line, leading the Broncos getting that advantageous field position. You got to give credit to Sean Payton and his staff and the team. They have found another route to success. Mm-hmm. We'll see how sustainable it is down the back half of the schedule, because as we've seen from Minnesota the last couple of games with Josh Dobbs, Cleveland with what they're doing, Houston looking like a legitimate wild card contender with CJ Stroud, and then you go play the Chargers and the Lions right after that. This is a 5-game stretch here that is going to provide as maybe more tests than the ones the Broncos have gotten in the last couple of games.
100%. I could not agree with you more. And with that being said, they do need PJ Locke to be out there. And is there any updates on an injury with him?
We're going to wait and see on that. We'll learn more later on in the week. So no updates just yet on PJ Locke. We know it's an ankle injury. I will say this, in the locker room after the game, he was in pretty good spirits and seemed pretty optimistic. So we'll find out. But boy, when he went out, again, all respect to De'Aaron Turner-Yell, but let's face it, some bad things for this defense have happened when Turner-Yell has been forced into action. I mean, he was out there for the 70-point debacle. He was out there for most of Washington's comeback in week 2. He was out there for the Chicago game. I think what we're finding out is there's a limit to how well the Broncos can function at safety depth-wise, and it's when you have to go down the list to Turner-Yell. Because, look, you have Justin Simmons, Kareem Jackson. You had Caden Stearns. You lost him in week 1. And you have PJ Locke, who's filled in very well the last couple of games.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to safety number 5, it appears that's where you run out of options. You know, there's the old cliche in the NFL, just turn to the next man up. Eventually, you run out of next men who are viable at that spot. And while Turner-Yell is a plus player on special teams, you could see, I mean, Buffalo was going at him and capitalizing off some confusion in the secondary. And it's not a coincidence that the Bills' offense didn't start to move consistently until PJ Locke left the game.
Real quick, too, Kareem Jackson was obviously not in attendance, but he was watching on social media and cheering on this Denver Broncos team. Mace, what happens now that Kareem Jackson can come back? Do you stick with what's been working, or do you put your veteran back out there?
Well, I think if you are concerned about PJ Locke in the short term in his health, then okay, then you plug K-Jack back out there right away, right? If you want to say, okay, PJ, take a little bit of time to get back, we got you. You can go with Justin Simmons and Kareem Jackson, and you're going to be okay, right? I do think at this point, we're talking about Kareem Jackson being a 14-year veteran, and it is inevitable that a step is going to be lost, and sometimes you try to make up for that in other ways. I think PJ Locke is a bit more complete player right now. I expect that if he's healthy, we will see more of him going forward because it was working. That being said, the defensive turnaround did start happening when you had Justin Simmons and Kareem Jackson playing the safeties, because you can really go back to the Kansas City Thursday night game, I think, for when the defense really started to
I'm gonna watch this.
It's a great lot. And the previous owner was really into DIY.
Ah. Is that a chinchilla?
Yes. Stair slide. A Murphy tub.
Finding a perfect home is hard. Thankfully, Geico makes it easy to bundle and save.
Couple of big wins for the Denver Broncos. They beat the Chiefs 2 weeks ago. They had their bye, and then they beat the Bills, 2 of the elite teams, supposedly, in the AFC. The Chiefs still elite at 7-2, although they are not what they've been in past years, as evidenced by the fact that they didn't just steamroll over the Denver Broncos. But here are the Broncos now at 4-5. It feels like the 70-point game against Miami was 70 years ago. It just shows you how much things change over the course of an NFL season. Teams get better, teams get worse. Defenses get better, defenses get worse. The Broncos are on the right track, but the problem, Miles, as I mentioned on our way out from the last segment, there are 11 teams in the AFC at or above 500. The Broncos are one of the 5 teams below 500. They're going to have to, and I don't know, in the abstract, if you tell me, if I'm a Broncos fan, oh, we beat the Chiefs and Bills back-to-back, Week 8 and Week 10, hey, playoffs, here we come. Now it's like, man, they're still going to have to thread a hell of a needle to even have a chance. There's too many teams to jump over to get themselves in position. But hey, it's great because it lays the foundation for next year. All that talk about Russell Wilson being out after this year, that's gone now. Yeah. Russell Wilson is better. He moves better. He had some last night, like the processing. We talk so much about processing now. He was doing those little flip passes to Samaje Perine. He pulls the ball down and runs like he did back in Seattle. He's noticeably thinner this year. That was something Troy Aikman said last night. It's been obvious all year long. It's their first look at him on Monday Night Football. But Russell Wilson is a different guy than he was last year. And I like the quote that he gave. I think Lisa Salters was saying this during the game, that he understands last year was bad, but if he plays 20 years in the NFL and he has one bad year, he can take it.
I like that too. You know, I think it's interesting that Wilson was able to make those kind of scat plays that we saw so often when he was with the Seattle Seahawks, kind of at what the proverbially height of his powers, right? Where he's able to evade the rush, he's able to do different things, and then he just lets the ball go. And then you're like, oh my God, what are you doing? Like when he flips it, you know, to Samaje Perine, and it's like, oh, that actually worked out very well. You really knew what you were doing right there. And so I think that those things are encouraging. I'm not going crazy over it because, again, like the Broncos got too many B teams and things in my head right now. Let me try this again. The Broncos finished that game with a turnover margin of +3, and you only end up with 24 points. That's not great. You know, your starting field position was about your own 40, your own 42, and you only end up with 24 points. That's not great. You know, Russell Wilson's air yards per attempt, something around 3.5 yards. That's also not that great. But when you do those things and you're still winning, you can live with that, especially as you're kind of building things up as a program with Sean Payton as your head coach. You can tell that they're starting to adapt to his personality. They're starting to take on what he really wants his football team to look like. And that is very encouraging for the Broncos heading down the stretch.
Russell Wilson completed 24 of 29 passes last night. Now, he only had 193 yards. And in that final drive, just as it was starting, the graphic on the screen for ESPN said that he was averaging 3.4 air yards per attempt, the lowest of his career. Or was it 3.4 yards per attempt? I need to do the math. 29 throws, 193 yards. That's not air yards. Yeah, it's air yards. 3.4 was the lowest of his career. Now, I don't know how that changed based on the last drive. It would have changed dramatically if the ball to Jerry Jeudy had been caught. But again, he's got all these guys in his face. He just had to get rid of it. I think that he's moving in the right direction. Clearly in the right direction. Right, it still worked out. But my point is it would have driven up that average considerably if he had gotten the ball out in front of Jerry Jeudy, but he had all those guys in his face and he had just been swallowed up whole. I mean, that play before we talked to it, I mean, he just was gone. Like he didn't even have a chance to do anything. He just disappeared. So he hasn't disappeared by way of his relevance to the Broncos and the NFL. It was very popular last year. And I remember talking about it on this show, like everybody was dumping on Russell Wilson. Old, stupid, petty grudges were coming to the fore. Anything and everything about Russell Wilson last year. It was open season because he finally had a bad year. But I got to give him credit. I got to give Sean Payton credit. And the fact that it started so poorly and they've turned it around, these two wins back-to-back. I mean, there was a point after that Miami loss, I'm thinking, would Greg Penner, the owner of the Broncos, fire Sean Payton after 1 year and just buy out the balance of his contract? They're the richest ownership group in the NFL by far. And these folks who run Walmart are ruthless. And I don't mean that in a pejorative way. They don't screw around. There's a problem. This is the difference between the Bills and the Broncos. And this is why Broncos fans should be very happy about this. And I'm trying not to be disrespectful to Terry Pagula in saying this, but there are two types of owners for these purposes. There's the owner that will just sit there and not do anything. When something needs to be done, just stay the course. This is fine. Is it a dog drinking coffee in the burning room? Is it a dog? This is fine. This is fine. This is a perfectly acceptable state of affairs. And Greg Penner, they're not going to mess around. Now, they made their fortune in a way that the scoreboard tracks dollars and cents. How much money are we making? with razor-thin margins, selling really cheap crap for razor-thin margins over and over and over again. How do we make billions? And that family, the Walton family, which is the core of this. Rob Walton initially was the owner of the team. Now it's Greg Penner, the son-in-law of Rob Walton, married to Carrie Walton Penner. Billionaires out the wazoo in the Walton family. Wildly successful business that literally started as a mom-and-pop operation. They didn't get there by ignoring problems. They didn't get there by, you know what, something's not going right here. Well, it'll get better. Why? Because we've done it before. That mindset will never get through. They won't even get to the parking lot, never mind the front door. It's not even getting in the zip code of the Denver Broncos. That's where Broncos fans need to be most excited. Regardless of what happens this year, where things are going is a sign that, number one, it's working, and number two, you've got an ownership group that isn't going to screw around. And I guarantee you, if Sean Payton had 12 guys on the field to attempt to block the field goal that ultimately was missed, and then there was a flag, and then it was made, Greg Penner would already have had a full conversation in an effort to examine exactly who was to blame, why it happened, and how we can be 100% sure it will never, ever, ever, ever happen again.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. There's no doubt about that. And, you know, I mean, that's what good owners who are not meddling owners tend to do, those kinds of things, right? They have the tough conversations, and they make sure that problems don't arise again. And sometimes they do it without suggesting what the solution is. I think that's what the best owners do. They diagnose the problem and they get their football people to actually solve the problem, as opposed to solving it themselves, or also doing the who will rid me of this meddlesome priest thing, unless they absolutely don't like what's going on the field. So that's one thing. But if we're handing out credit, we also have to credit Vance Joseph for what he's done with that defense. I mean, when you have a game that ends up 70-20, and you've got the Miami Dolphins running wild, and you can't tackle anybody, and you can't really do anything, and then you win back-to-back games against the Chiefs and the Bills. I mean, I know Russell Wilson last night after that game was saying, oh, everybody was talking stuff about our defense, blah, blah, blah. Like, bro, when you give up 70 points, like, everybody's going to talk bad
Yes,
about your
we
defense,
were.
okay?
Yes.
Like, yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I apologize for absolutely nothing, because we reacted to what we saw. And what we saw, as you eloquently put things last week, Mike, was caca. That last night, that was not caca. That was the opposite of that. What they've done against the Chiefs and the Bills, where they're picking up turnovers like this is good stuff. This is something that you can build upon going forward. So I got to give Vance Joseph a lot of credit for the way that he has turned that unit around, because they look so much better than they did early on in the season.
I am closing in on 58.5 years of age, and I hope I am never too old to think caca isn't funny. It's fun to say. It's fun to hear. It makes me smile. It makes me laugh. It also takes me back to being a kid, because that's what my mom always called it. So, all right. God, I had a great thought there. Oh, to piggyback on your point, it always drives me crazy when teams use as some sort of a rallying cry the fact that the rest of us notice something obvious. Like, how dare you notice this giant, piece of broccoli that's stuck to my chin? How dare you see it, right? How dare you point out the fact that we're horrible? How dare you?
Right.
So, but they're better. Vance Joseph, quite possibly having the time of his life after all in Denver. So we'll see where the Broncos go from here. And hey, this Sunday night game, a lot of people wringing their hands and gnashing their teeth about Vikings at Broncos staying put on Sunday Night Football. And folks, as we get deeper into the season, I think we're going to see more explanations publicly from reports and other resources as to how the NFL painted itself into a corner with this ability to flex Sunday night, Thursday night, and Monday night. There's rules to protect Fox and CBS games that are going to make it very hard when it comes to improving primetime games late in the season. But this is one that need to be improved. Now, I'm not just saying that because I'm wearing my Josh Dobbs jersey under this hoodie. I'm not. But I did wear it yesterday on the show, and I did wear it under my salute to service hoodie on the way home yesterday. But you got the Vikings who have won 5 in a row, and you've got the Broncos who are just beating the Chiefs and the Bills. And it's Denver. It's nighttime. Maybe it'll snow. Who knows? This time of year, you never know. It's going to be 70 degrees one day. It's going to be 5 feet of snow the next day. Who knows what's going to happen Sunday night? And whatever the forecast says for now, forget about it. It'll change by Sunday night. So this has the potential to be a fun game, a fun, exciting game, very impactful for the Vikings. And if the Broncos pull themselves to 500 to join the 11 other teams, inevitably some of them will drop under 500 based upon what happens this weekend. Maybe the Broncos springboard their way back into it. But I will say this. Here's where the Broncos need to be on guard. Because, Miles, it was week 10 last year in Buffalo. Same as this year. Week 10. Crazy, nutty game. Even nuttier than last night, really. It just wasn't in prime time, so it didn't resonate the same way last night's game will. Yes. Vikings win that game somehow win that game. And next week, and that was the Kirko Chains thing. That was the whole deal. Euphoria in Minnesota. My son and 2 of his friends went to the game. Heroes welcome. That new stadium louder than it ever been. And the Cowboys beat them 40-3 because there's a letdown effect here. And I think Sean Payton is smart enough. He's the guy that worries about everything. He's going to be beating the hell out of them this week to make sure they don't have a letdown on Sunday night. And they're in the same spot the Bills are in. You got 5 days. You had to fly home last night. You're waking up this morning. You're feeling great about what you did. And now here comes the hottest team in the NFL that's won 5 in a row. So great game on Sunday night and great opportunity for the Broncos to further prove to all of us that it is a new day. And they've quickly, unlike the Bills, who have no idea how to get themselves out of their rut, the Broncos were in a far worse rut as of week 3. That was as bad as it gets. And look at where they are now. It's a testament to the organization. It's a testament to Sean Payton. It's a testament to Russell Wilson, Vance Joseph. Do your job one day at a time. And the next thing you know, the team that everyone was saying stinks is going to be looking back at everyone else saying, how we doing now? Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.
All right, we got to fix our lineup. A-Chain's coming back in. Save that. Zach Moss is getting dropped. We need to find another receiver. Yeah, no, I'm done with Christian watching. He's done. Damn. Yeah, we're picking up Brandon Cooks. Drop Zach Moss. Yep. Oh, it's so nice to have A-Chain back, bro. He's going to go off this next week. And then I need to look for a new tight end. Yep, Herbert's staying in. I think that's all we can do for now. Yeah, until tomorrow. But we need to go into our basketball league. And we need to put Cam Reddish in. Yeah, because I can't manage my IR right now. Can I? I don't think I can. Yeah, no, I can't right now. I gotta wait till tomorrow. Alright.
Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos went into Buffalo on a cold Monday night and shocked the world, and it was more impressive than any of us even thought or probably hoped. We're going to break it down in this video. If you're new to this channel, my name is Ben, and I break down all things Denver sports. Now let's dive in. So when I say we went in and shocked the world, I quite literally mean it. That you look the pregame shows before the game even launched, and Scott Van Pelt was like, all right, let's make our picks. We're all picking Denver, right? And everyone laughed, and they all went on to pick the Broncos to lose by anywhere from the closest score that they predicted was a 5-point Broncos loss all the way up to a double-digit 21-point Broncos loss. And you just look, every single one of the experts picked Buffalo. You see 96% of picks nationally, people picked Buffalo. And so the first reason I think that this game was just incredibly, incredibly impressive was that this wasn't a game where the people looked past us. The other team just looked past us, and they were thinking about hopping on a plane and flying to Germany, like a lot of people said happened with the Chiefs when we beat them. This was truly the Buffalo Bills' best shot. This was a get-right game for them. You heard Von Miller in his press conference say, the alarm isn't ringing, but it's really close. There's no need for panic. We haven't lost faith in this team, but it's getting pretty close. Well, it's that time now. You saw in the pregame, you just could feel the energy on the Bills sideline. You could see it. All the analysts were talking. They were playing Meek Mill. Everyone was hyped, and they were giving it their best shot. And that, to me, was one of the things about this game that was just incredibly, incredibly powerful for us, is that this was not a team looking past us. This truly was a team giving us everything that they had. Now, looking at the stats, other things about this that really are just incredibly impressive to me is, first off, Russell Wilson. I think we have all been very quick to write off Russell Wilson, to say that he's cooked, to say he should retire. And we look here at his stat line, and over the past 2 games, you've seen Russell Wilson outplay the MVP of the league in Patrick Mahomes and the quarterback that everyone just drools over in Josh Allen. And you look that he had more completions and less turnovers. And I think the other thing that's just really impressive to me was I felt like his pocket was never clean. He did not have clean pockets like Josh Allen, where he could just take all of his time and dink and dunk. He was making quick decisions, and when he did get sacked, he had 4 sacks for 15 yards of loss. And I feel like there were times in the past when he was trying to play hero ball and he was spinning out, and he might lose 15 plays on one single sack. But the fact is, when he was getting sacked, he made the most of it. He was stepping up and stepping into danger, stepping into trouble, and just being incredibly smart with the ball in ways that we haven't seen him be smart with the ball in the past. His throw in the first half to Cortland Sutton for the touchdown was the most difficult play ever tracked since they've been doing advanced analytics and that game tracker stat thing. So we just see one of the incredibly impressive things was just Russell Wilson stepping up and playing more like vintage Russ than we've seen. I think this was the best game we've seen out of Russell Wilson in a Broncos uniform. And I just think, looking at this, we were committed to the run. We ran it more than we passed. We ran it 38 times, and we passed it. What is his 29? And it was not. I kept waiting for us to break out and just have this massive, yard gain on a run, and that never happened. We never broke out of that, yet we stayed committed to the run, and I was just incredibly impressed with that. I think the other thing that makes me very curious is what is up with Russell Wilson and his pocket, and why is he always under pressure? And I was looking here at some advanced stats, and if you look at the Broncos on Pro Football Focus, that Russell Wilson has been pressured. This is before last night. I think this number is just going to go up. I would guess it would even be the highest number after this week, but this is just up and through last week, is that Russell Wilson has been pressured on 25% of his throws. And if you've been watching the games, you know that's true, is that he doesn't have a clean pocket. And what is that? And is that partially due to the fact that he is a shorter guy? And so you can have these big old defensive linemen, if they're within 5 feet of him, that's considered pressure because they're, if I'm shooting a shot over a 7-footer, they don't have to pressure. They don't have to be as close to me as if I'm shooting over a 5-foot, 3-inch tall kid. And so is that what it is, that he's a shorter guy? I think the other thing that might be leading to that increased pressure is that his time in the pocket, meaning like the time that he is waiting to throw the ball, is also longer. He's at 2.7 seconds average pocket time. And so is he waiting? Is that receivers not getting open? What is causing that? I think that is something we're going to need to fix going into Minnesota, or having Minnesota come to Colorado next week for the big game. But Broncos country, there's so much to break down coming up. Our future is back in our control. We have gone from a less than 1% chance of making the playoffs when this channel started at 1-5 to now we are at like a 14% chance of making the playoffs with all the teams in front of us. We still have a chance to play and to beat. And so I would love if you would like and subscribe, be along for this journey, because the Broncos are making the playoffs. I've been saying that for 4 weeks, and I hope you're with me. Broncos country, let's ride.
Okay, let's get into some league. I'm gonna play some top or ADC, one of the two. Put this microphone up because I'm not even using it.
Oh my God. 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 Oh my God.
I do not tolerate cowardice.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Let's fuck this Gangplank up. I'm gonna eat this motherfucker. I'm gonna nom 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 all over this motherfucker, bro. Oops. Oopsie poopsie. That was an accident. Oops. Oopsie poopsie, man. That was not good. Fucking oopsie. Oopsie doopsie. Oopsie poopsie, man. That was not good. No bueno. I gotta play this shit really safe now. He doesn't know that I don't have flash though, so. Fucking oops daisy.
For the darkness.
Alright, we're gonna take it back. That punches him. I shouldn't have TP'd right there. out farming me, but we're doing fine. Once we get that first kill on him, lane's over. All we gotta do is just keep on building health and armor. And waves pushed to me.
Darkness.
Fucking kidding me, dude?
Are a scourge upon the valley. Only eating fast. Darkness. daylight, it burns!
That's on me. Little bastard, dude. Annoying, but okay.
shall bring them terror.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was good. Alright, one more league and then probably gonna play some Apex after. Because I've played one game and I'm already bored. So.
I do not tolerate cowardice.
Put my nose on your drum set. Who's their fucking top lane, bro? What even is this? I don't know, bro, but I'm feeling like going Tryndamere.
This'll be a slaughter.
Teemo! Let's do it!
This'll be a slaughter.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Follow my blade.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Ha 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 ha! Ha 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 ha! Ha 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 ha!
Minions have spawned.
I am your worst nightmare. Ha 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 ha! Ha 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 ha! Ha 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 ha! Ha 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 ha! Ha 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 ha! Ha 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 ha! Ha 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 ha! Ha 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 ha! As you wish.
not playing this game with you, you motherfucker.
This'll be a slaughter. Follow my blade.
What's up, Jesse? How's it going, man? Trying to play some Warzone, bro? I'm literally getting off a league after this. This stupid little bitch is fucking annoying me, dude.
Into battle.
He's literally fucking stepping up trying to kill me every single time that I try to farm, and it's getting really I'm getting fed up with it really fast.
This'll be a slaughter. Follow my blade.
Coming.
I am your worst nightmare.
Like, really, bro? The fuck, dude? Are you serious? Feed my lane some more, you stupid motherfuckers.
As you wish. Into battle.
Nah, this shit's fucking annoying, dude. I'm not dealing with this. Alright, after this, man. Kid's not even good, bro. He just keeps on pressuring every 5 seconds, bro. He's so fucking aggressive. It is literally so annoying. This dude's fucking pathetic. I hate this champion so much, bro. So fucking much.
I am your
Seriously? I just died to keep that turret alive. Don't let that little motherfucker push. For real? This is an FF, bro. I'm done.
An ally has been slain.
Yeah, just surrender. I'm done with this shit. If
Into
y'all don't surrender, I'm
battle.
gonna leave. No FF, I'm leaving. Like, literally, bro. I'm not playing this.
This'll be a slaughter.
No, I'm not going in there. Oh. Shit's over with, bro. If they don't, I'm gonna leave. Honestly. Getting ready to leave.
I am your worst nightmare.
I know, dude. Yeah, no, I'm done. I'm gonna leave this game. There's no way I'm staying in this shit, bro. Exit game.
A summoner has disconnected.
Yep, same here, buddy. Alright, dude. I'll hop on some more, Zone. Fucking stupid ass shit, bro. I'm not playing that game. Nope.